So, I didn't have an idea of what to film. However, I did think one thing. Um, so there's the Voynich manuscript. It's probably one of the most famous unknown languages out there. Probably even more than Linear A. And people still don't know what it's supposed to be. Because they can figure out, like, what the actual manuscript itself was for, likely, but they don't know what it says exactly. They can't read it. They don't understand the letters. So what I thought was, many people do always say they figured it out, but with no proof. There was one family that got high praise because people thought that they were right. They said they saw a weird pattern in it, thought it must have been an old alphabet for Turkish. Though I don't really think an old alphabet having to go into Latin version would be able to go that well. Plus, the actual Voynich manuscript has a few Latin letters already, so it doesn't transfer into there. Plus, you can't fully transfer into the you can't. They'd have to have like a few of the letters still staying, definitely, because that's how most languages are. So I don't feel like it's that. It was never actually proven that they were entirely correct. They just like got famous for a little bit and then no one talked about them ever again. There's no way to prove the theory I have, and if I see a theory that has proof, I am just not going to believe it entirely, but believe it more than my own theory, because I'm not entirely sure if this is true, but it is possible, because people have tried things like this, but I feel like it's like, they say there was like 3 people, possibly 1 or 3 people, writing the entire manuscript because of the different handwritings. And it's a very cool looking alphabet, but it's also very simple and easy looking. All of the things look similar, yet you can differentiate all the letters easily. And it is also an alphabet. It's got different letters to make words. It's also got spaces. Oh, hold on. If you look up the Voynich alphabet, it'll show a bunch of images of letters they've discovered from the manuscripts. They try to figure out the alphabet. They don't know the letters, but there's several images of them writing down all of the letters. Like here, this person tried to just guess the letters. Don't pay attention to what the letters are, just look at how they took some of the letters they saw. Like, we figured out some letters. We just don't know what they do. However, there are actual Latin letters. There's an A, there's possibly an O, but that definitely could just be a coincidence because it is just a circle, and then there's E. So, I feel like what it is that, like, possibly the 3 people made a simple alphabet on their own. It's not its own language. That's why there's only one document to have the actual language on there. And there's not like a bunch of things they can't translate. It's a single thing, so that's why it's difficult. I feel like they made a simple alphabet just for them to use themselves, and there's no records of it because maybe it was in unwritten language. There's several languages that don't have writing systems, even to this day, many of them. So I think that it was possible that the manuscript was that there was a language that there was a big language that had like a whole clan or nation of people, and they had no writing system to go with their language. So 3 people wanted to write stuff down, but they didn't have any language like everyone else, but every other nation would write stuff down. So they made a simple alphabet so that they can all read and write with each other. And it's simple so that it's easy for all of them to remember the things and write it down, and to agree on things with how the letters are looking. I think it's something like that, maybe. And that's why there's no other documents. I've actually noticed something. So, look right here. There's this. I've seen videos of people documenting what they found in the Voynich manuscripts, and I've seen a lot of letters. There's repeating things because, of course, they're letters, but I've seen many letters show up multiple times, but at different lengths on parts of the letters. I feel like those aren't different letters that are just taller versions of other ones. I feel like those are the letters, but lengthening them is just their way of having accents. Like you can put an accent mark over a letter, make it different. I feel like they changed the length of something. Maybe it could be like the actual length of the letter or pitch, like how Russian has a whole letter to change like the hardness of the next letter in a word. I feel like they did something like that. Possibly, but there's still no way of knowing, and this theory cannot be proven at all. Even if it somehow was proven, you would still not be able to figure out how things are pronounced. Because there's no other thing to go with it at all. So if you no way to figure out how to pronounce something, so you can't actually read it with sound, you can look at common words, just imagine what that looks like in your head, and then you can know that means something, but you don't know what that thing means because you have no sound that you can base around other languages, so there's no way to really figure anything out. But I do feel like it's very possible if that's what it is. Maybe. Then again, people did figure out a lot of cuneiform things. They figured out many sounds and what they meant. I'm not entirely sure how. I've looked at many cuneiform things, and I've seen that a lot of them do use the wedges to draw shapes to mean things. And I've seen many things that look like fish. And I think only one of them actually meant fish. And yet somehow they figured out all the other ones. I don't know how they didn't just assume they were all fish. So they figured out cuneiform somehow. They even got pronunciations. I have no clue how that happened. So maybe they can figure out this if it's like this.